Hello and welcome everybody to the GameDay Squad Aussie Rules live show. We are here today because round one is upon us. We are only just under half an hour away until things are the first bounce, things are kicking off, but there's no better time now to get your squads ready. I'm joined by a good friend and co-host in Cal, and we have a very, very special guest on today. Ross, mate, firstly, welcome to the stream. Do you want to introduce anyone that doesn't know about you and all the good things that you do?
No worries. Thank you very much, Tom and Cal, obviously, for having me on. I'm very much looking forward to beginning my GameDay Squad journey and, sort of branching out, hopefully being able to get some good squads going, get some prizes in and, having a good time with it all. So,
100%.
For those of you who may not know me, I'm Ross. I'm one half of Third Man Up over on Twitter or X. Me and my co-host Janeth do Supercoach, chat, data, all that sort of stuff. And, we've grown quite a nice following over there. So now looking to expand out. I mean, Supercoach is often fair enough, but, GameDay Squad definitely seems like a really revolutionary idea in the sort of footy world. And it's something that we're both looking to get behind. And, I'm really, really keen to, have my first season and see how we go.
Let's go.
Hey, hello, everyone. Yeah, what you're saying there. What he's actually saying is we've brought him over to the dark side. So, GameDay Squad, we've just partnered up with Supercoach Swordplay and the Third Man Up, and yeah, we've basically stolen them from Supercoach because here at GameDay Squad, obviously, we think we got something pretty cool. Tom, I'm pumped to get into it. So awesome to have you on,
Sure.
Ross. I need some help. Don't be thinking that tonight you're going to get any advice from me. My preseason prep is, let's call it limited. So yes, Tom, I know in the past you've accused me of stealing ideas from your squad lineups. I very much plan to do that from both of you guys tonight. So yeah,
Nice.
keen to get stuck into it and watch some footy tonight.
I'll tell you what, at least you're honest. I can respect that. At least you're honest. You've come in here, honest attitude this time. But look, what we're going to do, we're going to go through, first of all, let's talk about some news. And looking at the news that came through, lineups just dropped about 30 minutes ago. There's not a whole lot of significance, but there are a couple things that I guess we're going to want to mention. One of the big ones will be Tom Green is being named for the Giants this week. And in a round where you might say mids are a bit thin, or maybe there's a bit of confusion of where to go, where our top six mids are, is this a trap? I don't know. I normally don't like to play a player coming straight back off injury, especially with something as significant as Tommy Green. But we'll see. Another huge name is a member that's playing in some new colours this weekend. Dan Houston is set to make his debut on the MCG. Cal is a renowned Port fan, just so you know, Ross. So he's going to love the fact that he's in some new
First
colours.
game against us. Yeah. First game against us.
Destiny.
It's almost like he got suspended on purpose to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Yes, very true. Look, other than that, I guess there's not too much else to touch on in terms of GameDay Squad fantasy. So if you do have any questions as we go along, please, by all means, drop it in the chat. We'll pull them up. We'll answer them as we go. And, without further ado, let's get into it. Ross, mate, as you mentioned, you've started off this preseason. You've got on board with GameDay Squad. Yep. Would you like to share your screen? Let's take and walk through your squad. I want to have a look. Cal and I and yourself will dissect what we've got going and then talk through.
All right, let's have a look at this then. This is purely based off stuff that I've received from starting and, a couple of trades in there through the Discord as well. But here we are.
Lovely.
Hope you guys can see that now.
We sure will be able to. There we go.
Beautiful.
I just zoom in a few clicks, I reckon. You can. There we go.
Perfect.
There we go. That should be better.
So this is, for anyone new to GameDay Squad, you're looking at your starter comp here, which is our first competition, the All Bronze competition, which we highly, highly, highly recommend everyone. Doesn't matter if you're brand new or you've been around for a couple of years, set this squad because you may have seen yesterday we've got the GDS Cup launching. And the way to qualify for that is to make sure you're in the top 512 starter squads after round 2. So you got 2 weeks to get it right. And then there's some awesome prizes. So yeah, let's get stuck in. There is a nice variety of players.
Yeah.
Tom, anything that caught your eye?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess we'll start from the defense. I guess one thing that I might call, I think Mac Andrews not. Is he playing?
No, I don't think McAndrew is playing. I'm still a little bit short on defenders at the minute, so I might have to work out a quick trade or two to get rid of him and get someone else in there. But
my favorite thing about these streams on a Thursday night is getting
Yeah.
trades live with the audience. So let them know who you want, and I'm sure we can make it happen here live.
I think we've got a pack opening later as well. So maybe you might get some heat in the pack opening and be able to use it to do it. But yeah,
100%.
some stars there for sure. Dan Houston, you've got him straight in the revenge game, if you may call it. What are you expecting from him? You know, under the light or at the G on the biggest stage? What are we thinking?
Yeah, look, I'm always a big fan of players returning to play against their old side. I normally think they're a bit fired up for it, especially with it being his first game of the season. Collingwood coming off a bit of a nasty loss without him last week. I think he could be definitely up there in our sort of top 7 defenders this week. Yeah. I know that Port Adelaide are quite a restrictive matchup for defenders usually, but I can see Houston being really motivated to win that ball at all costs and really try and get off the chain against them. So hopefully he can deliver some big things for me. That'd be really, really lovely.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess one of the other things that you'd be looking at there is probably taking the kick-in duties as well at the Pies. So that's a huge boost when we have people play on out of that goal square to get those just extra stats as the game ticks along. Yeah, so 100%. Loving that play. Carl Amon, who had a fantastic round 0, as you would call it. He just looked electric. He looked super good through the middle, was coming off that defense and just being a really good ball user, and I think finished with the goal as well. So big score last round. What are we expecting from Amon heading into round 1?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure if I'd be expecting Amon to be dropping 130s for us every week, but against Essendon tomorrow night, I think he can definitely deliver another nice 100+ score. I know that Essendon are sort of notoriously sort of bad at defending against wingers, sort of halfbacks that sort of roll through the middle, as you said there. And, I think that's a good recipe for Amon to put up another nice score. Although as the squad sort of, begins to develop a bit more, I get a few more options. I'm not sure if he'd be one that I'd be taking every week. But for this week at the moment, I'm pretty happy to have him in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good form. Great player as well, nonetheless. And maybe, Warple being down as well, another good ball user for the Hawks. Can he maybe find it just that little bit more? Is he needed that little bit more for this round?
So you've gone 2 guys playing tonight in that midfield. Cripps, you'd think with Walsh coming back in, I was tossing up between the two of them myself. I've gone with Cripps as well, but I had Walsh in there, but I just couldn't do it. I think we've spoken before about players coming back from injury. I just couldn't quite do it. But you've also gone Taranto as well. And they're expected to get beaten heavily. But if you had the full selection of midfielders, would you still put them in? Do you think Taranto is a good matchup for tonight?
Oh, I think Carlton will be very restrictive against a lot of teams' midfielders, especially perhaps Richmond. Although with it being the first game of the season, being a bit uncontested, I could see Taranto still winning plenty of the ball. We know he is a proven accumulator, and his ability to find a lot of the ball very quickly could really, really help him. And even though it is a tough matchup, I think he is still definitely one who we have to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, love it, man. Yeah, some big games tonight. Talk us through some of the other defenders we've got in here. We've got Wilkie, Duggan, Lloyd, some of those sort of players. Were they sort of would they be in your squad if you had some extra cards? Because I know I sort of had a list of people that I just edged out. And Sicily being one of them. I had a couple of concerns, I guess, with sort of his role, how he's going to be used. He's just, it sort of impacts him a little bit. He's a little bit too versatile and too useful, like some other players like Dawson, where he can get chucked forward and,
with Sicily, as you say, he tends to start as a defender, and then whenever they need a forward, they'll throw him forward. So whether that hurts his scoring, I'm not really too sure yet. One that I did sort of like the look of was actually Liam Duggan. Having a look at the Gold Coast Suns and their recent record against sort of defenders in general, they tend to play a very sort of chip mark style themselves, which means they're not necessarily too interested in pressing the opposition defenders. So I'm hoping Duggan could actually be one who might drop a little monster score this week for me.
Yeah, I like that. Duggan's a fan favourite between me and Tom. We love those defenders that love those cheap kicks out the back.
Yeah.
I actually sneaky think that they're going to upset the Suns. Don't tell Kerm. Our third member at GameDay Squad, Suns fan, who just once again, year number 9 in a row, not being so excited about the footy season coming up. But there's still hope, Kerm. This is a pretty good squad. I loved up forward Jason Horne-Francis. I love that he's a forward. I'd imagine most people have him in there.
Yeah.
You've gone Tom's old boy, Lukey Parker, in the squad. I've seen a few people have him in the squad thinking he's going to get a lot of footy. Have you been watching him a lot in the preseason?
Oh, I haven't really, and I didn't actually get a chance to watch North's game against the Eagles. But I do back him to get some midfield time for sure. I know they have Wardlaw, who's out for a number of weeks, and they'll probably look to rotate Sheasel and McKercher through there where they can. But I can actually see Luke Parker taking a lot of the sort of centre bounce attendances for North Melbourne. And I think as a forward, we get a couple of weeks, obviously, to sort of assess how he'll go. But I think he can score quite well in the new sort of role.
Mate, I've got to say, let me hop in here because in my notes for this round, I had a couple pod options that I was deeply considering. You're starting 2 of them. One being, and it's probably a bit of an outside play, Jared Witts against West Coast. So we know last year some of the data that we were given and that West Coast very commonly didn't perform very well against Rucks or Rucks performed very well against them. So are you expecting a big score here and potentially swaying when other people are more likely inclined to start Cherry and Marshall and Gawn?
Yeah, look, I think, as you say, the West Coast Eagles were not very good at defending against Rucks last year. Now, I know that they have Matt Flynn, who's expected to sort of take that number 1 ruck role for them. But at the end of the day, they still have Archer Reed, who they've named, who's likely to probably play second ruck. Yep. And I know that Flynn is a fairly serviceable guy, but he's still coming off a couple seasons unfit. He might still need a couple of weeks to work back into it. Archer Reed as a second ruck is someone who I think Witts can probably take care of as well. So I'm banking on that sort of West Coast factor for Jared Witts there, definitely.
Yeah, big physical ruck for sure, can get them top. And the second one there being Tom Liberatore. So the Doggies preseason has been decimated by injuries, especially in their midfield. Their 2 stars, Adam Chalor and the big bad Bont, not appearing and will not be playing for just a couple of rounds. I'm not sure how long, but Lib has been a consideration for a lot of coaches because he has a knack to really elevate when he's required from the Dogs. So bit of a pod, but I'm loving the start. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, look, I think it just purely came down to that. He's got the midfield role for this weekend. They play against North Melbourne, who might not have the strongest midfield to come up against. And I can just see him, getting around the ball quite a lot and, taking his fair share of points. So that's what I'm really hoping for. And I know it's a pod selection, compared to some others who might be more inclined to pick whoever it is, who are a bit more safe. But I think the upside's there for him this weekend for sure.
100% it's there. I'm loving the play. Honestly, great squad to start it off. Looking very forward to seeing how you perform and seeing, what happens there. But Cal, why don't we roll into you here? Let's go over to the peanut butters. Ross, you can pick this squad apart with me. It'll be a pleasure to do it with you. Cal and I have a rivalry that has been stemming for some years now.
I'm glad you call it that still.
It's not a rivalry. It's actually more of domination.
Yeah, bit a rough couple of years for the peanut butters. Like I said, my preseason research this year has been pretty limited. Had a lot going on with GameDay Squad, which we're pumped about, and we're super excited to have everyone on board. Already off to a fantastic start to the season, and yeah, round 1 hasn't even started. So thank you everyone who has jumped on board and is new. So instead of talking about the players, because I'm not going to be able to give you too much insight there, I want to tell you about the strategy I'm going here. And this is in the classic competition, so not the starter competition where it's all bronze card. This is the next competition up here. So the salary cap of 12.5. Tom, I've gone for a bit of a hero strategy this week, and you can see that I've gone big on the ruckman. I like those matchups from what I've seen, and I'm going big tonight with Paddy Cripps on the platinum. So instead of there's a couple of strategies and ways that people go about it on GameDay Squad. You can have it nice and even across the board, lots of silvers and, fairly in the middle. I'm going sort of boom or bust players there. So particularly in this classic competition, I'm going to try and get at the top. So Tom, gone big on those two ruckmen. I've gone big on Cripps. I actually want to downgrade Day. I want him in my squad, but I actually don't want him as a gold. I just don't have a silver or bronze. So that's the trade I'm going to be making late. And
I've
then,
got
of
a
course,
silver for you. It'll cost you that price card, Rosie, if you want it.
you ain't touching him. You ain't touching him. And the other player I want to trade, I love having Semi Wicks in my squad, but I want a bronze. I don't want a silver Semi Wicks. So they're the cup. That's what I'm going to be sitting on the couch tonight, trying to make some trades for a couple of them. But what do you guys think of that as my classic squad as it stands right now?
Take it away, Ross. Pick this apart, mate.
Look, I really do like the strategy of sort of going big, and targeting those matchups. I mean, Cripps coming up against Richmond's midfield very soon should hopefully yield a big score. Then the same goes for Max Gawn, who I think is going to be racking against Lockie Keefe after Kieran Briggs went down with concussion last weekend. And then obviously we've got Tristan Cherry as well, who's coming up against Tim English, who has been a bit less of a physical matchup, and a bit easier compared to some of the other rucks of the comp, like Gawn himself, in terms of...
A bit washed, would you say, Tom?
Formats.
No, he's bouncing back this year. Don't worry. Tingles is bouncing back. But maybe not this matchup. He's in for a tough day.
For those new, Tom tried to start a cult 2 years ago, or a gang, we should say, around Tim English love. So, good. He's nowhere near squads at the moment, which is good to see. It's a nice win for Marshall Gang. But yeah, that's good that you like that strategy, Tom. I'm sure you're going to rip in a little bit more.
Yeah, don't like Sam Wicks, I'll be honest with you. Probably look elsewhere. And I've got a couple players in mind, not only the ones that I've started, but things that interest me. Liam Baker this week, making his West Coast debut. He's a forward in GameDay Squad. Probably going to be spending some time down back, maybe being used as a ball user. And if he can play well off the likes of Duggan, Ross, that you brought up before, I could really see him having a good start to his campaign there, and maybe someone that people are going to want to watch.
Yeah, I think the ultimate swingman, but having that forward role is pretty coveted, because obviously with your mids, you've got so many mids that you want to pick from every week. You've got your defenders, your best are usually pretty well set out, but the forwards is where, I think there's a lot of value and, players in there who you can take and get, midfield sort of size points from. But obviously they're only taking up a forward spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one that comes to mind is Mackay, key forward. In GameDay Squad, we lean a little bit more towards goals and offensive stats, meaning people who can have a day and kick a bag are going to more than likely score really well. And Mackay has the chance to do that tonight. I'm still considering whether I need to make a last-minute substitution and get him in.
I have made a last-minute trade. So shout out Stealth. I only had $1.78 left in my account. He had one up for $2.20, a platinum Harry Mackay. I convinced him to lower the price for me. So shout out Stealth. I've got him straight in my champion squad, Tom, and I've also got him in my challenger squad. So I have Mackay covered. I just don't have him in my classic squad. But you want to be critical of my team, my squad? I reckon I can flick over to you and you can show us what the squad to beat for the round is going to look like.
Don't say that. Hopefully. Let's do it. Let me pull up my squad for you. I'll zoom in a little bit, just make it a little bit easier to see. But down back.
Ooh, I don't like that, Dawson.
Down back, Ryan, Houston, Short, Zorko, Perryman, Sheasel, and Ash. So anyone that's listening to the pod. Perryman, I really like playing in the midfield. He's going to have that role there. Hopefully going to get a lot of pill. Probably a little disappointing in round one, especially in terms of GameDay Squad, but I'm not too concerned. They just got touched up by the Giants like many other teams will do this season. Then Jordan Dawson, that's my pride and joy. That's an all-star card there, Ross. So this one here gives you a little bit of a multiplier for less salary cap, and I really think he can finish as the number one performing player for this round. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, go for it, Cal.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
All you, mate. All you. I've got nothing good to say about Jordan Dawson.
Look, I mean, he's playing against my boys, St Kilda. So as much as it would pay me to see him drop a really massive score, I've got the bronze in my starter squad. So I am expecting something decent from him. And I know he had a bit of an off year last year, got swung around a bit forward, didn't really suit him all that much. But what we saw in that preseason game where he was back into that midfield role that we know he loves, coming up against one of the weaker mids in the comp. Steele and McRae are, both fairly decent, serviceable players. But then after that, I think sort of rotation will look like Windhager, Hunter Clark, maybe even Hugh Boxall if he gets named. So some definite, as DR from the Sword Play would say, meat on the bone. There's the potential there for some nice score from Jordan Dawson.
Yeah, love it. Pull up this comment, Cow. Why the hate? Exactly. No good reason. Just out of spite for me, I think.
Nah, there was a showdown I didn't love the finish to.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so that's probably where it started. I loved him at the Swans, funnily enough. So even when he was playing for your boys, Tom. But no, you're still there. I had Dawson in my squad. It's all fun. I think the big thing for me, Tom, is you've had a prize card sitting in your reserves for what you won it 2 years ago. Hasn't played a game for you, and that of course is Bailey Smith. And you're not playing him in your classic squad this week. You've said, you know what, mate, and you've set out for 2 years. Sit out another week.
Yeah, well, look, I just think that putting my salary cap on Smith, I am a little hesitant almost to start him. And there was a point there where I was thinking about benching him. I spoke about Baker, Brian Myers, Jeremy Cameron, Mackay, and then what about Shai Bolton and his Freo debut? There's some really good forward options this round, in my opinion. But the upside of Bailey Smith, just knowing that Geelong need a ball-dominant mid, they need someone to step in. I do think they're going to ease him into this season, so maybe it's a case where Smith maybe starts a little slower, but then as his workload ramps up, then we see him sort of get those nuclear scores. But look, I'm pretty happy with the squad. I'm starting Sammy Walsh, so I'm going different to you. I think in a game like tonight, Cripps is the more physical player, but Walsh just seems to be that silky smooth mid that can cut through the line. And in a game where I do believe the Baggers will get on top, as Good Matrix said here, I do see Walsh sort of being the link in a lot of the plays tonight. So at least that's the hope. We'll see how it pans out.
I think you've got to have one of them at least all your squad. So I've split them nice and evenly. Tom, we've got about 5 minutes before the footy starts.
Pack opening, eh?
We have got some pack openings. We're going to get Ross back up, open a few packs, see if we can get a bit of a classic squad ready to go. Beauty about GameDay Squad is you do that. We've got the rolling lockout. So any packs for anything you get tonight, it's only going to lock out the players playing for Richmond and for Carlton. But make sure you have a full squad filled out in every squad, because if you have blank players, you will get a 0, even if you have players playing. So make sure you set a whole squad, put in someone, put a random player you're not going to play tonight, and then you can always jump back in and change them a bit later on. So, mate, you are going to open up some packs. I'm keen to see this. We love this here at GameDay Squad. All-Stars, let's see if you can nab yourself maybe
that'd be lovely.
Dawson, one of Tom's bad boys.
Let's see how we go.
Got a rare 9-player. Got some starters as well, which is good.
Yeah, sit down after the game. So head back over to player packs at the top, and they'll be over on those starter packs, obviously being all the bronze cards that you get. You get them weekly and you get them when you start. And then these being the ones you can get from the store.
Here we go.
Take it away, mate. We're still yet to have a legend packed on an Aussie Rules stream. One day it'll happen. How we go. Unfortunately, that's not the animation that tells us. So let's see how we're going. You able to zoom in just a little bit? It's just a little small. See how we go. Was that an all-star, Tom? Did I
hover over them again? No, that's not.
No.
If you have like a half outline where it's half black, half gold, it means an all-star card. Unfortunately, no.
Alrighty.
Well, let's have a look.
Logan Smith.
No, he won't.
It's all right. Mantha.
Not a good
Someone who's playing here. They're loving the Ds. Windsor. Yeah. That's not bad. Playing off half back.
And Teeman's back.
Sam Collins.
Not
bad. Vizentini.
Ooh.
Can he displace Jordan?
Come on, finish strong.
Hoffman. Mansell. Burn Jones.
Game 200.
Game 200 this weekend. There you go.
Burn Jones.
You reckon I'm back in for a big one?
Don't play him. No. There's a lot of people in Port Adelaide to watch this week. He is not one of them. Let's see who's going to steal those points from Houston. That's not the pack you wanted, but you've still got a few starters and stuff. Maybe Let's see if there's anyone that you can go straight into your
Starters.
squad here. We'll be around for anyone following along, anyone that has questions, anyone that needs exchanges. Make sure you're still getting them through. We'll be here in the Discord where it's all happening tonight. Everyone talking about the game.
Lloyd,
Jakey Lloyd, he can go
he was
straight
in
in.
already. I think
Beautiful.
he was.
You can double him up in the
Yeah.
classic.
It's a very serviceable, trade piece as well. Swap for another bronze.
Yeah, and the best
Another
place
liver.
to do those trades, jump on the Discord.
Liver's come back to you.
Yeah,
This
he's
is a
loving it.
sign. This is a sign that maybe I need to get Liber in. There's
Here
too
we
much
go, another
Liber
big rush,
energy.
Do it.
Witsy again.
Oh
What's going on? They're all in my squad.
no! This is a sign, mate. This
This is the reassurance
yeah.
you needed for this round. I'm telling you.
These players, if you have them now, if you're
This is
watching,
gonna
get
be-
them in your team.
I was gonna.
Jamara, or maybe not him.
Samara.
Do not get Jamara. Do not
Do
get
not do
Jamara.
it.
You're not going to be happy with your score on Monday morning if you play him.
Yeah. So that's it. Don't do Jamara, but maybe the others. Big Witsy, Liver, Jake Lloyd, get them in.
Yeah,
Love
for
it.
sure. Well, look, thank you, Big Ross, for coming on, mate, talking about your squad. So make sure you get those starter squads done. Cal touched on the GDS Cup before. It's never been more important. You got to qualify for it. We've got 2 rounds. It's going to be a bunch of fun. As you mentioned, reach out to us if you need any help on our socials or just leave a comment underneath and we can get back to you. We're only a couple minutes away now. This is amazing. Enjoy the first bounce of footy. Round 1 footy is here. The Tigers game and Carlton. Ross, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate you
No
taking
worries.
the time.
Thanks for having us on, guys. And keep your eyes peeled on Third Man Up and Supercoach Swordplay on YouTube for plenty more GameDay Squad content every week throughout the season. So
Oh, I love the
Looking
sound of
forward
that.
to it.
I'm excited already.
Righty, legends.
Looking forward to the
Yeah.
competition, mate.
let's go.
Let's do it. All right, we'll catch you all in the next